This is topic 3.4, and we're going to learn how to look at a pyramid and talk about how when you change the dimensions, what happens to the volume. So let's start by working example 1. They want us to find the volume of the pyramid. Let's write the volume formula. It's 1/3 the area of the base times the height of the pyramid. That means this one's going to be 1/3. The base area would be 18 times 18, and the height would be 12. Alright, let's make sure, let's put this in the calculator. So 1/3 times 18 times 18 times 12. It's 1,296, and it's millimeters cubed because it's volume. So we have 1,296. This is going to be our original pyramid. We're going to change some things about this pyramid and watch what happens to the volume. So look at example 2. They want us to find the answer to the volume if all of the dimensions are tripled. Tripled just means you're going to multiply everything by 3. So 18 times 3 is 54. So that means your square pyramid turns into a 54 by 54 square, and your height is multiplied by 3 also, so that turns into a height here of 36. So if you use the formula for volume, 1/3 base area times height. This time the base area is going to be 54 times 54. The height is 36. It's going to be quite a bit bigger number, but let's try it. 1/3 times 54 times 54 times 36. This is now 34,992. These are millimeters. So square, I'm sorry, I said square up here. I hope I didn't. It's cubic. Cubic millimeter. Alright, I want you to notice, because we have talked about this before, see the word tripled? If we were to take our original 1,296 cubic millimeters and multiply that by 27, that's going to give me an original, I'm sorry, a new of 34,992. So it's the original times the dimensions. Each dimension, all 3 were changed by a factor of 3. So if you think of that as 3 times 3 times 3, that's going to be the same answer. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but 34,992 cubic millimeters is the volume of your new. I'm going to move this up. I keep forgetting you can't see it sometimes. So the volume is now quite a bit larger than it was when all the dimensions are tripled. Okay, now we're going to take the same pyramid that we started with that had 18, 18, and 12, and this time we're going to reduce it by 1/3. Now when you reduce by 1/3, that means you're going to divide 18 by 3 and 12 by 3. So you end up with a 6 millimeter base edge and a 4 millimeter height. The volume is 1/3 base area times the height. The base area would be 6 times 6, and the height is 4. This one's going to get smaller because anytime you multiply, you change dimensions fractionally, it will become a smaller number. 1/3 times 36 times 4 is 48. So this volume is 48 cubic millimeters. Alright, I want you to notice that if we took the volume of our original, that was 1,296, and we multiplied it by and I'm going to write it as a factor of a third 3 times, because that we changed the base, 2 of the base edges and the height. If you multiplied a third times a third times a third, that's the same thing as 1/27th. And if you multiply that times your original amount, that's going to happen to be the same answer. So we can kind of make a conjecture here that when the dimension of a pyramid is changed proportionally, it's the volume is affected by cubing the factor. So let's write that down. How about dimensions of a Okay, let's read this and talk about it, what I just wrote. When the dimensions of a pyramid are changed proportionally, its volume is affected by the factor cubed. Like our 1/3 up there, when we, for example, when we did the 1/3, if you cube a 1/3, that means 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. That was 1/27. That's the factor that it changed by. If we took our original volume and multiplied by that factor cubed, that's going to give us the volume of the new shape. Whether it shrinks or gets bigger, you always just use your scale factor cubed, whatever scale they're giving you. Look at example 4. A pyramid has a volume of 112 cubic inches. Find its volume if the dimensions were increased to 4 times their original length. This is the word that's going to be your factor. And if they're giving that to you, then that's the number you want to cube. And 4 cubed, let me make sure you know how to do that in the calculator. If you type the 4 in, you have to push the button that's right below the clear key to cube a number. So it won't make a small exponent, but it will cube the number for you. So 4 cubed is 64. So that means that the volume will be 64 times bigger. Let me write that on here. So if we know our volume of our original is 112, all we have to do is multiply it by 64 to find the volume if all the dimensions are increased 4 times. So the answer is 7,168 cubic inches. This would be your new volume. So you start with an original and then you just multiply by your factor cubed. Let me know if you still need some more additional problems.